exhibition in San Francisco as well.
Okay. Okay. So let me ask you: do you find many other African American or Black artists, and are they shown? Are our arts being shown? You know, not just here within the Americas. I believe you've traveled outside of the Americas as well. And do you see our arts outside of America?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I mean, we have some, you know, large named artists. I mean, I can think of Kyra Walker, Keondae Wiley. They're some of the huge, you know, artists that are very well known.
Why
right
don't
now.
we hear about them then? You know, you might hear about a Van Gogh or something, but why don't we hear about great artists like yourself and some of the ones you've just mentioned? Firstly, they're not in the schools that I never heard of anything like this when I was coming up. What is your take on one of the reasons why we don't? Is one of the first questions. And the second question is it important? Is art really important in today's society? And if so, why?
So the first question, I think one of the reasons why we don't really hear about it is, you know, number one, our culture, our society is based on consumerism, and in some ways, and if, you know, an artist, they become, you know, more of a household name if their pieces become almost like products or products. So for example, if I made bed sheets out of this, or if I made, and I'm not belittling that in any way, or if this became a rug or whatever that was at Target or other places, then we'd be more well known. And just, we're in a society that does not necessarily emphasize that. Many of the people that we focus on with the Picassos and the Van Goghs and other people, it's their stories that really catch people, and they've become historical icons in many ways. So everybody, of course, you know, knows the story of Van Gogh with his ear. But the ironic twist is, during his lifetime, I mean, most of his paintings his brother bought. He wasn't a successful, in a financial sense.
Okay.
So that's part of the problem with our society. You know, really dealing with that and understanding that this art is something that should be incorporated in everything, and not just based on consumerism.
Right.
That's my view.
Okay, I appreciate that.
And then to answer the other part of the question, art is extremely important. Extremely important, because what most of us are unaware of is art affects everything that's going on around us, particularly in America. Art, whether it be just the art of producing tangible things, like I just talked to you about, rugs or clothing or garments or all of those things become part of your culture. And art, when it comes to working with the community or young people, the beauty of it is it opens up things in your brain that forces you to become more innovative and deal with problem solving. So the whole concept of mathematics, understanding how to deal with the whole new technologies and everything else, without having a basic understanding of art, or at least knowing that how the importance of these things, it limits you in some ways.
Okay, well, let me throw this into the equation then. So if art, because music is art, poetry is art, and it's the type of arts, this is art, if you're not giving enough balance in art, positive art, constructive art, do you feel that it limits the growth of a human being?
It does. It totally limits a growth in a human being, and it creates, I think you just said it, it creates this imbalance.
Okay.
Because you're not the yin and the yang.
Right.
You're not in a position where you're balanced. You're just, you live a one-sided existence, which becomes very dangerous. For example, how do you express yourself? I mean, people have experienced severe physical abuse or emotional abuse. You know, they're finding that through producing artwork, that is a way to express or communicate. And a lot of this stuff is dealing with the unconscious, so you may not be able to even articulate that to a doctor or to a counselor. But then when you sit down with that piece of artwork, that unconscious that works through you allows you to articulate the pain and the suffering that you went through in order to kind of work through these
So it's
issues.
like a virtual, like a healing. Is
It can be.
It can be a healing.
Yes.
Because there's so much going on within our community, and as I had mentioned to you before, that there are schools have been taken out of various different things, such as, you know, arts and craft. And when you don't have this in the schools, and you're talking and you're connecting that with this, I always say spirit for some odd reason, or soul, or the universe, or a higher source. If you're not getting enough of that, and you're being fed, and I'm pretty sure you can appreciate, we're being fed as a society, negative images consistently, infomercials consistently, music. We are being fed a certain directive of how music should be, and with that, if we don't get enough of the opposite, the yin as opposed to the yang, then would you say our communication of how we communicate with one another, there's a lacking of the communication because we are missing that other part of the soul or the other part of the arts?
I definitely think it is. Yeah, definitely.
Wow. Okay. Could you explain to us? I see you have another piece there. I mean, that's a very interesting piece, and
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, this piece is called Full Circle. This is a self-portrait.
Okay.
It's based on, has a lot of symbolism in it for me. Sometimes when I do self-portraits, I portray myself in a Cub Scout uniform. As old as I am, I still portray myself as a Cub Scout. I was a Cub Scout, I was a Boy Scout, I was an Eagle Scout.
Wow. Okay.
And the reason why I portray myself in that format as a Cub Scout is I feel like that was a period in my life, and I lived for a very long time, where I had a very rose-colored view of the world. And through a lot of emotional things, which these vines represent, wrapping around me, there was a transformation. And some of it you could kind of define as trauma or sorrow or loss. One was a breakup in a relationship, romantic relationship. The other was the death of my father.
Okay.
So all of these things kind of transformed me and made me start to look at things a little differently in the world.
Okay.
And the African forms this is an African mask, and this is an African form. That to me symbolizes really connecting to my source, which is Africa, and also tying into my ancestors.
Wow.
Because I feel like my ancestors helped me get
through
through
make this transition.
Yeah.
And that's really powerful that we go back. As a matter of fact, that's what Sankofa actually means, that we have to go back and we have to connect with our ancestors, with our elders, to have that, once again, that balance. If the audience wants to get with you, our viewers, if they want to get in contact with you, how can we reach out to you? Do you have a phone number? Do you have a website?
I do.
Could you tell our audience how they can get in contact with you?
Yeah, it's William Rhodes. Oh, I should start by saying www.williamrhodesart.com, and that's WILLIAMRHODESART.com, or like me on Facebook, which is William Rhodes Art on Facebook.
And I can tell you, the gallery, my brother, I mean, you have some art that's absolutely incredible. Our next show, I want to have you back.
Thank you.
I want to invite you back because you have another piece that I would like for the audience to see. You didn't bring it here with you, and I can assure you, when you see this piece, as any of his art is absolutely incredible, they are thoroughly going to enjoy it, and I'm looking so forward to having you back here on the show. And I appreciate you coming out, and I appreciate all of the art that you are actually creating and giving us.
Thank you.
And so, gosh, you had a piece. When I first met you before we close, I met you at a transformation event, and we vibed, our connectivity was there, and you said, I'm gonna give you a call. We exchanged cards, and you said, I'm gonna give you a call. So listen up, folks. When you say you're gonna do something, do it. This brother called me right after, and I was very quick to jump on it. So thank you, Brother Rhodes, for coming out. I appreciate you. This is Education in the Community. I am Kinara Sankofa, your host, and we will see you again soon. Good night.